Praise the Lord. This is Pastor Greg Mayhorn. I'm glad you're joining us. I'm talking about how to have your best year yet. And I know that we're already into the month of February, but I'm actually ministering from notes that I preached from on the very first Wednesday of January. I think it was the 3rd or 4th. And so it was early in the year, and I'm thinking that these questions are relevant no matter what time of the year it is. We've been actually coming to you with a series of questions, basic things that we need to deal with if we really want life to change for the better. Today's question is this: how much am I willing to increase my giving? You know, sometimes people have the idea that giving is something that's better left untalked about in spiritual settings, that church isn't the place and preachers really shouldn't touch that subject. But of course, the problem with that thinking is it's not biblical. There's so many scriptures in the Bible, from Genesis all the way to the book of the Revelation, that are talking about the value of things, talking about money, talking about material wealth, talking about things. Now, I understand, and I think you as a believer would understand, that Jesus made clear that, you know, our life doesn't consist in the abundance of the things we possess. But at the same time, Jesus had a treasury. He needed a treasurer. And as a matter of fact, there was enough in that treasury till that the treasurer was stealing from the treasury, and the other 11 disciples didn't even seem to really realize it. You know, most people's treasury is not so big that they could have somebody stealing from it and not notice. What's going on, of course, is that Jesus never lacked for anything. Everywhere he went, and he wasn't, you know, he didn't just live in one spot and everybody came to him. He traveled, he itinerated all over the place there in Israel, you know, the places where the Lord would lead him. And so it, you know, is important that his needs be met. He's carrying this entourage of 12 people with him. This was a lot to be responsible for, but he never came up short. Even if it required a miracle, he could take care of it. Well, the whole principle of abundance rests upon the principle of sowing and reaping, giving and receiving, generosity, and then its corresponding harvest. And so if you want to have the best year in 2017 you've ever had, do a study of biblical giving and receiving and make a decision to be generous. I have a friend who says that most people think they're generous until they run into somebody who is generous. In other words, sometimes folks think, well, I'm doing just great. You know, I give at this level, I do this, I've done that, and so that's okay. And sometimes we need to be stretched, all of us. Because if you will addict yourself to giving, if you will really get to the place where you want to give it, the Bible promises in 2 Corinthians that God will give seed to the sower. He will support your habit if you have the habit of giving. So I encourage you, if you want to have the best year yet you've ever had, financially, materially, increase your giving, and God will reward you accordingly.